Okay, what is up everybody? How are you guys doing? Thanks for checking out Bluefoot Homestead. I do appreciate any support. My last video got throttled quite a bit. Seems like I get some that are pretty G-rated that do good, and the ones that aren't so G-rated don't do so good. So I encourage you to go check out that video. It's kind of a long video, but I got a lot of interesting, different outlook type of information in there for everybody. Yeah, I want to talk about terrorism in the United States. There's a lot of things that can happen, and it's not necessarily what people always think of as terrorism. Now, we had 9/11. Our government knew it was going to happen. They didn't do anything to stop it. Now, the government is saying that they know it is going to happen, and I don't really see them doing anything to stop it. There's been a couple arrests, a couple of pointing fingers saying that there's terrorist cells, there's terrorist activity in different parts of our country, but I'm not really hearing about the arrest. I'm not hearing about necessarily shutting them down, maybe just one individual or something like that. And I realize there's legalities and stuff that we got to follow. We can't just scoop people up and throw them in jail, even though I wish we could. Are we going to have a terrorist attack in America? I honestly think we are. Now, of course, as you know me, I am on the game of China being the puppet master. I think the Chinese, the PLA, Xi Jinping, they're the puppet masters to the whole eastern part of this big war that we're going to have. They are planning things out. They are doing things in a very smart, strategic way. Now, China is also a very big fan of terrorism. It's in their doctrines. It is written to be a good, effective way to help overcome an enemy. They openly admit it, openly talk about it. I think China is kind of doing what we do. Now, we go out, we control other countries, we make other countries fight for us, and things like that. Now, China, Russia, North Korea, Iran, and a whole bunch of other countries are going to be on their team. They're already starting to kind of put everything together. But Iran is there. Iran is one of the sole hubs of terrorism, with Lebanon, with Yemen, with Iraq, all these countries in the Middle East. Islamic states, and maybe other Muslim states, or who knows, maybe even Christian states. But terrorism, for the most part, comes out of the Middle East. Now, as we've seen everything in the past, I'm a kid of the 80s. I clearly remember the Pan Am hijackings from Lebanon. That holds a kind of a deep spot in my heart. That was the first time I learned about terrorism. As a lot of younger guys know about 9/11. That was the Pan Am flights for me. So I know Lebanon. I know a lot of the Middle East have ties with terrorism of one way or another. Now, Afghanistan, as soon as we withdrew out of Afghanistan, China swept in. They started making deals, started making business deals, mostly for lithium. But it's a quid pro quo. You know, we're going to take lithium, we're going to help you out, we're going to build you cities, we're going to do all these things. In return, we're going to need your help. Now, of course, Afghanistan harbors ISIS and the Taliban. The Taliban are alive and well. They are stronger than they've ever been before, and they are probably more pissed off than they've ever been before. They see opportunities. Now, one of the big opportunities was having an open border. Now, in the last video, I talked about how this could all be planned, having the open border. I thoroughly believe that, but we do have bad actors that come in. It's not going to be perfect. The media is focused on the Venezuelan gangs, the TDA and stuff like that. That's what's getting all the hype and all that kind of stuff. But we've had probably close to 100,000 Taliban, Middle Easterns, that are here to do harm. Now, China definitely wants to keep their hands clean, and they're doing a good job of doing it so far. They've been involved with a lot of this stuff, and Nobody's even saying the word. Nobody's even bringing it up. Nobody's pointing fingers. Nobody's doing anything. They keep it really clean. Now, if China has deals with the Taliban in the Middle East for their agenda to help them out, and knowing that China is a very big fan of terrorism and it being an effective way to hurt a country, demoralize them, spin their economy, destroy their economy, all these different things can happen from terrorism. That's a big spider. Hello. All right, well, I'm not going to get them. So, yeah, I think China has the reins on everything. Now, we've had I've heard 100,000 people that are suspected terrorists come into this country or associated with terrorist groups, forming terrorist cells in our country. Now, 9/11 was a big deal. The terrorist attack on the World Trade Center was a big deal. A lot of people lost their lives. It was very effective. It definitely brought our country together. We forgot about all our differences. But those were scary times. We didn't know if anything else was going to happen. Then the Pentagon got hit. And then we didn't know if anything else was going to happen. The planes were just going to be falling out of the sky. You know, it's terrorism. So now, from what I've heard, is there might be a chance of an October 7th style attack in the United States. Now, I don't know if it would be necessarily to collect hostages or anything like that, but just large groups of gunmen going in and just smoking people. Now, we have a lot of people in this country that are capable of doing this. And there's a good chance that this could happen in Chicago, New York City, Philadelphia, Miami, Houston, LA, Phoenix, Denver, on and on and on, all at the same time. Now, what can we do about it? Not a whole lot. Keep prepared, keep strapped, keep situational awareness on top notch, going in and out of place, and mostly just avoid places with crowds. It could be so easy on a Sunday to fly 15 drones into a football stadium or something like that. There's a lot of things that they could do pretty much all at once. Now, a little bit on the other hand is England. Their main source of immigration are Muslims. Muslims are good people, got nothing against them, but again, you have bad apples. Now, their whole protest in writing and stuff like that was going on was based on this, that they don't want these people in their country because they fear it could be for doing harm to the country. Now, the United States, is not going to be the only one. It's going to be against the West. It's going to be all over Europe. It's going to be all over the world that we have this Western culture. But I think right now, tension is high with the whole war going on between Israel and Iran. Iran is definitely saying that any attacks or any association with Israel from the United States, Europe, or any of the Western countries is going to be an attack from those countries. And they will retaliate and they will do what they need to do accordingly. Now, just kind of putting all that together, we have a pretty good threat of terrorist attacks probably coming pretty soon. Especially if you are in a big city, stay away from the crowds. Avoid the football games, avoid movie theaters. If you got to go shopping at a Walmart, make it quick. Go in with a point, get what you need to get, and get out of there. I'd rather choose a smaller grocery store if you got that chance. Like out here, we don't have many options outside of Walmart. We have a very small grocery store that carries about half of what we need. So we end up going to Walmart. Our Walmart is pretty quiet. It's kind of out in the sticks. Not a lot of people go there. When I was back in Phoenix, I wouldn't even be able to guess the flow of people that go through there, but it is 4 to 5 times more foot traffic than we have here. Walmart is a very American thing. It's attached to the United States of America. Walmart, McDonald's, Burger King, America, you know. I could see that to be a target, but definitely any groups of people, any events, any fairs, definitely anything that's very American. As sad as I'd want to say it, I'd say stay away from it, at least for a while. At least maybe for the next year or so. Just make some different plans. Invite some people over, have a barbecue, do something different. Firework events, 4th of July events, though I think it might be a little bit sooner than that. But the word is out. The government's telling us, the FBI is telling us over and over and over that these things are coming. So, yeah, do your best to be aware. You know, keep a couple extra magazines with you just in case you got to protect yourself and your family. The best idea is just avoid it. Get out of harm's way as quick as you can. But definitely be safe out there. So I just wanted to bring this up. I've been hearing more and more about it. I just listened to a long interview last night on this subject, and they're very convinced that it is coming quite soon. Probably by the end of the year, that we're going to see some attacks of these sorts on multiple different areas, multiple targets. So kind of scary. But yeah, that's why we prep, right? So possible social unrest coming with all this stuff. So definitely stay safe out there. Keep prepping. Keep buying precious metals in the brass and lead form. I think it's probably a good idea. I've actually got rebought into Smith & Wesson stock. Maybe not right, but you got to take opportunities as they come to you, you know. Anyway, I'll leave it with that. Wanted to bring this situation up, and I will talk to you guys soon. Till next time, peace.